Well, hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Sport Clips Hall of Fame podcast. This is Chad Jordan. I'm the Director of Marketing for Digital Services at Sport Clips. Today's going to be a special episode because we're going to be talking about Help a Hero, VFW, some of the work that Sport Clips does with one of our favorite organizations. And speaking of that, can I have my guest introduce himself, please?
My name's Lynn Roth. I'm the Director of Programs for the Veterans of Foreign Wars.
Lynn, you are with VFW, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And how long you been there? Give me a little background.
I got hired on as the National Director of Programs about 40 years ago after about 10 years coming up the ranks in Kansas.
Okay.
Culminating with being the state commander of Kansas. And it's kind of really where I got introduced to Sport Clips. And then so when I got offered the opportunity to become the director, I jumped all over it because I knew the impact that everything that the VFW does, first of all, but the great specialized programs that we've got.
Let me back up then. You obviously served in the military. Give me all that. Give me the goodies there. Your branch of service, how many years you're in, all that kind of fun stuff.
I served 10 years as a military police officer.
Okay.
Commissioned and got out as a captain. I got out in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
I was stationed at Fort Riley.
Okay, so Army.
Yes.
Okay.
United
Is
States
that
Army.
hoo-ah or hoorah?
It's hoo-ah.
Hoo-ah.
Yeah, it's hoo-ah.
Okay, I want to get that one right. Okay, all right.
Yeah, not Semper Fi.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
So I been stationed all over the world. I grew up as a military brat. My dad, a Vietnam veteran, 33 years of service himself.
Wow.
Retired there at Fort Leavenworth. And so when I got out, I moved back home. Believe it or not, I hated home when I went in the military, but I missed it.
Yes.
And I came home.
That's probably a common story, huh?
Yeah. It's absolutely amazing. All my high school buddies are like, "You came back?" It's like you don't know how good you got.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've been all across the world, and I've seen the worst.
Mm-hmm.
So right before I got out, I took a military police task force to Iraq, and during the invasion, 2003, 2004.
Wow.
A lot of challenges over there, but a lot of pride that we accomplished what we went over for.
Yeah.
Chased another opportunity as a defense contractor for 10 years after that.
Okay.
As I was
Were you back over in the Middle East again, or
for
were
a
you
little
stateside?
bit,
Okay.
for just a short period. I went over to help look at some of the prisons.
Uh-huh.
Just offered lessons learned. And
What are the chances a boy from Leavenworth is going to become a military policeman and then a contractor that advises on prisons?
yeah, family members and everyone's like, first of all, we can't even believe that you went to college.
Yeah.
At Leavenworth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very weird, the parallels of coming from a military prison town and then a penitentiary, because I got kind of forced into the role as a military police officer, and it definitely is a strange parallel.
Yeah. You get out, then you're a civilian for 10 years. What's the involvement? How does the VFW association start with you? You had a buddy that was doing what? Give me a little bit of that and what the organization's up to.
My first Veterans Day in town, a couple of my high school buddies had served also. We wanted, and we called it a Thunder Run. We wanted to hit all the bars in Leavenworth during Veterans Day.
Okay.
And,
they were buying veterans drinks kind of thing? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
So we were taking advantage of it, and the last place we hit was the VFW. And, my granddad and my dad were both members and didn't really know much. And some of the old-timers were like, hey, we could use some help.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, I'll come down on first meeting. Well, by
so,
the second...
So hold on. Describe that to me, because on the outside looking in, I'm not a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a physical building like a lodge that the
Yes.
Okay.
Probably half of our VFWs have a brick and mortar place.
Uh-huh.
It's not a requisite. Some, like us older VFW posts, had started in a town, since the creation of the VFW.
Mm-hmm.
And Leavenworth being one of the oldest VFWs in the country. We're right downtown and had that beauty of being right there in a military installation.
Yeah.
So we've got a great nexus right there, and
I imagine the ones that are brick and mortar have a valid liquor license.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, they're
some do.
They're all commiserating together.
We're not sanctioning that per se, but yes, some have canteens where veterans can go in and
unwind
unwind and
reminisce and all that.
Enjoy the camaraderie.
And that's what literally. I mean, that's what you guys were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you were all together,
Yep.
and you get to VFW as a group with some of your buddies, and what it.
Well, I went to my first meeting, and I didn't like what I saw. You know, I loved the discipline because it was a lot of ritual. And I was like, wow, and I'm saluting again. Standing at attention. I was like, you know, I kind of missed this.
Yeah, right. It's in your DNA at that point,
yeah.
especially you're a military brat, Army brat already. But
and I was trying to break free of that.
Yeah.
But I saw some challenges. There was some bickering going on in the meeting, and I said, you know, I'm not going to waste my time. And a high school buddy of mine said, hey, you know, my dad asked me, when they need some help, they need new blood, they need new volunteers. You want to help? So within the third meeting, I ended up taking over the whole VFW there in town, and because we just forced them out. We said, hey, if we're going to be involved,
we're going to do it the right way.
Yeah. We're gonna get out and do community service. We're gonna get engaged with the city legislature. We're gonna go to schools and teach the Pledge of Allegiance. We're gonna teach them the importance of the flag, how to handle it.
Yeah. And are these weekly meetings, monthly? How does
monthly meetings?
Okay.
Some have bi-monthly. Just really how each post is allowed to operate. You know what works for them. So I caught the bug, and I really was at a dark part in my life. I was drinking way too much. I was a lot of bad decisions.
Right. Were you chasing something or trying to get away from something?
I was self-medicating very hard.
Yeah.
It really affected my job, but the day that I put that hat on, that I was in charge, I stopped drinking.
Wow.
I have not had a drink in 10 years.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So I tell people all the time, VFW saved my life, and it gave me a structure and a purpose and a mission. And look, now I'm director of programs.
Right, yeah.
Now I get to go out and I run the mental health program for the VFW too now.
Oh, tell me about that.
Well, we've got a lot of great partners, just like Sport Clips.
Yep.
We have some mental health professionals that a veteran or a service member can call. You know, if they're scared to go to the VA and get help, they can call the 800 number.
Okay.
And they can talk to a psychiatrist.
Do you have the 800 number memorized? If not, I'll refer to it.
I do not.
Okay. So I'm gonna link to, is it VFW.org? I think.
Yeah.
All right. So in this podcast,
and,
I'll make sure in the podcast notes to link to it and add that 800 number.
Yep.
So they call, they get walked through, they get help.
They'll get automatically, based on where they call in from, they'll get put close to a provider in their area that is donating. It's called Give an Hour.
Okay.
Psychiatrists can sign up for the service and give an hour a month or give an hour a day or a month.
Wow.
So what we're doing with Give an Hour is trying to change the direction of mental health.
Yes.
The service that I use every day is called Patients Like Me. It's an online collaboration where I analyze myself. I'm saying I'm feeling good, I'm feeling bad, I'm doing good, or whatever however I feel.
And what do you get, a score or whatever telling you where you're on the spectrum?
Over a year time frame, you can pick out your trends.
Wow.
And you know, and like for me, there's certain months that I struggle because of the 6 guys that I lost.
Okay.
So I can take a look at that and say, okay, I know April's coming up. It's a bad month. So in February, I need to start thinking of.
Yep.
I need to get busy. I need to get back to running. You know, something to deal with it.
How appropriate. We're at NASCAR race right now, Darlington, and sponsored by the VFW and Sport Clips, by the way. And think about a NASCAR track. You know, those turns. That's when the drivers, right? They're at their peak. Their mental. They're having to think through, even as they get ready to approach that turn, what they're going to do and who's around them and all that kind of stuff. And then they get on the straightaway, you know, whatever, and maybe they can coast. You know, I'm not a NASCAR driver myself, but that kind of seems to be what you're describing in terms of, you know, when the turns are coming, and now because of this,
work on my coping mechanisms.
Yeah, and you have a pit crew or somebody talking in your ear, or somebody helping you work through it.
And this online tool, it's called Patients Like Me. You can collaborate with other veterans that are diagnosed with the same disorder or depression like I've got.
Yeah.
And say, hey, here's what worked for me, and here's what didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And so you have all these veterans talking about the good things and then the bad things, especially with some medications work for others, some don't. Horseback riding, running, CrossFit.
Yep.
And can pass those lessons on to other veterans and learn from it.
And just keep. I imagine if you don't find the right one right away, you just keep trying to figure out.
And that's what that's our
it.
message is don't give up.
Yeah.
You know, there's others out there just like you. Don't be afraid of it. You know, attack it just like what we did on the battlefield and seize it.
Do they have to be members of VFW to get? Okay.
No. Yeah, we help anyone.
I see.
We've branched out to first responders also. I've provided some classes to middle school and high school kids that are getting bullied that can also benefit from a lot of this stuff. And
have you? Is there anything on YouTube, or you guys have done anything that's been recorded yet?
Just talking about the 5 signs of emotional suffering.
Okay.
And I can give those, but most of ours, since we're not trained professionals, we allow give an hour, because they're licensed and we don't want that liability.
Right.
So we talk about the 5 signs.
Okay. I might try to find that on YouTube and link to it then.
Yep.
That's amazing. I didn't realize there was a whole mental health wing to not just VFW, but what you specifically are doing at VFW. You've been involved with Sport Clips for a while now. As or what's your is it liaison? What exactly is your role with VFW?
As the director of programs, the Help a Hero Scholarship falls under my responsibility.
Okay.
So I have a staff member that is responsible with getting the application from the veterans, and then we judge them based on criteria on where they fall on financial need, their service, and how much GI Bill they got left.
Okay.
So I've got a staff member that does that, and me being the director, I'm ultimately responsible for building the relationship with Sport Clips.
Yep.
Talking about it, getting our VFWs more energized on helping the team leaders raise the funds.
Right.
Through the October-November campaign, and even throughout the year.
Yeah, I know a lot of them are doing it, slow drips throughout the year.
That's part of my responsibility, is get the message out, and explain the relationship, that it's not the way we look at Sport Clips. It's not just Help a Hero. We're both community partners.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that Sport Clips does in communities, especially free haircuts to homeless veterans.
Right.
And so we should know where those opportunities exist, and then we can work together and mutually support. And
imagine when as you mentioned, that's a great example. Throughout the country, it's just random that some team leaders have reached out and they're giving haircuts to homeless veterans. But you would like to know that, so you can come alongside with some of that mental health help and resourcing and all of that kind of stuff.
There's a lot of mutual crossover on everything.
You mentioned Help a Hero. Help a Hero is our big annual drive that we do to raise funds for men and women that are discharging, I imagine, from the armed services.
No, they can still be in.
Yep. Okay. And get scholarships for transitioning into the civilian workspace. Is that exactly what what we're looking at here?
Well, initially that was the impetus on why it started, but it's blended and transformed. That our eligibility criteria is E5 and below. So a sergeant,
yep.
junior enlisted troop is what Gordon really wanted to focus on, because they probably have a family, have a lot of bills, may not be able to afford to go to school, and with the new GI Bill, they probably transferred their GI Bill to their spouse or their kids before they got out.
Yeah.
So now, all of a sudden, they find themselves, you know what? Maybe I want to become a lawyer, or I want to become anything. We're able to lend that helping hand through this incredible scholarship. And the beauty is, and our number one talking point now, is that this has become the largest student veteran scholarship in the world.
Wow.
The impact.
Help a Hero.
Yes.
With Sport Clips and VFW together.
1,077 scholarships that we've provided for $5 million is the biggest out there. The impact is, and these younger vets and older vets can benefit. There's no time limit from when they got out.
I see.
They can still be in. Like the candidate that we just recognized here this
Dorothy?
weekend, Dorothy, she's going to go back in the Army. She wants to become an officer.
Okay.
And the only way she can become an officer is by getting a college degree.
Yep.
So we're going to set that young service member up to go back in and continue serving.
Right.
And to hear those stories, especially some of the younger generation, they're chasing STEM careers now because that's where the world's changing. And the graduation rate of a veteran, especially someone that's a little more mature going back into school, they're outperforming the peers in colleges now.
All the discipline that they had, had from their military service.
They can multitask.
They're blowing, exactly. They're blowing their fellow candidates out of the water. And that's amazing. I love it. And by the way, I'm hoping on this very podcast with the episode that we're releasing, I'm hoping Dorothy will be on it. So I still need to.
Dorothy's a great young one.
Yeah.
And by the way, she is the most newest VFW Life member. She signed up today when she met her commander in chief.
That's great. He'll also be on this podcast. All right, I know we got to wrap it up because we got other festivities to get to. Give me a last couple thoughts or anything that you want people to know about VFW, about Help a Hero.
What I want people to know is that we award about 174 scholarships a semester.
Okay.
But I have about 600 veterans that apply.
Wow.
What I'm asking all of our VFWs is we gotta crunch that deficit. So if you're out there in Sport Clips location and you want a VFW or you're not having any assistance by the VFW, call me. I can apply some pressure.
We'll put your personal cell phone number with this podcast.
Yeah, 913. Better, I'll give you my email.
We'll
Rolf at VFW.org. But I would love to get us to awarding 600 scholarships.
Wow. One to one. You want a 1-to-1 ratio if you can get to it.
If someone applies, I would love to be able to give a scholarship to.
And this year, are you planning? I know you go. Is it Times Square or you do that whole thing?
We're gonna crash the Time Show for. I believe Dana and has been out there. This will be the 10th year Sport Clips has been out there. So we're really looking forward to getting out there with the signs and hopefully get some on-air time and show the greatness of the scholarship.
Yeah, no, it's tremendous, very worthwhile cause. Certainly why Gordon supports it and has dreamt of this, and then obviously us as a brand coming alongside. What a pleasure it is to have you guys as a cherished partner. Thank you for your service.
Thank you enough.
Hey, no, I thank you. I mean, what you're doing, especially that mental health angle, that gives me chills. I love that. So thank you guys for everything, and we'll continue this podcast with another guest next time. Thanks again, Lynn.
Thank you.